What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Farzy Show. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers from the Steven Singer Studio. Hope everyone had just a wonderful rest of your Monday. I believe in being upfront with you guys. So let me start off before I just mentioned kind of the big three things that we're going to talk about today. I was going to have Bo Wolf on the show today. I had to cancel the interview with Bo Wolf of The Athletic, who was great, and he was very kind to agree to come on, and we'll get him on down the line. But I had to take a little trip to the emergency room yesterday, and it wasn't for me. It was for my son, Leo, who's 6 months old. He's fine now. I'm going to do what I know some people tell long stories, and I know I'm guilty of doing this too, but I like to start at the end with a lot of things. He's home. He's good. He has a respiratory infection. So that was kind of scaring the hell out of us. And we had him at our family doctor. They checked him out. And he was like, they were all like, oh, well, he's like a really happy baby. And he seems okay for the most part. So we don't want to freak out or anything like that. But he had like expedited breathing. Like he was taking too many breaths in a minute. So they're like, if that continues, you want to take him to the emergency room. So we did. We had to take him to the emergency room. And although everything checked out fine and they cleaned him out pretty well, it's never a fun trip to take a 6-month-old to the ER. So that's what my wife and I had to do yesterday. So we both had to clear our schedules, as one would assume, and we had to sit in there and kind of wait for the doctors and go through that whole process. And the bottom line is he's home. He slept great, and we just had a more eventful Monday, late afternoon, early evening. I think we were there from like 3:30 to 8. And so we just have to keep monitoring the young man and making sure that he's okay. But so it was a wild one. And I didn't text. I texted Bo and I said, "Hey man, can I get a rain check? I appreciate you wanted to come, being flexible to come on, but I have a little emergency pop up, and I don't want to make you wait it out." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, no worries, fine, we'll do it another time." I said, "Great." So that's how the day went yesterday. But it's crazy because the doctors are all looking at him and they're like, "This kid, like he's the happiest kid," and he is. We're blessed. He's a great kid. He's just has this cough like he's been smoking cigars with me for every month of his life. And they took care of him, cleared him out, and hopefully he's through the worst of it. Apparently this respiratory infection's been going around. One thing, just in case you guys got kids as well, young kids, one thing they told me was COVID flipped this respiratory infection used to be a real popular thing, or real common thing, I should say, a common thing in the winter. And now COVID kind of reversed that cycle, and now it's more common in the summer, which is odd. But Lil Toots went through it for a week. Not as bad for her because, she's 3 now. And Leo, who's only 6 months, it's a little bit more serious. Well, a lot more serious for babies. So that's where we're at right now. But like I said, we're all good now. We're all good. So see the comments. You guys are great. Really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. So let's talk some Phillies. Let's talk some Eagles. Let's talk some 76ers because they're all in play today, baby. Let's start it off with the Phillies, who had a nice win for themselves last night. Noah Syndergaard went out there and handled his business, which is exactly what you want to see. A 4-3 victory. Here's how it went for me. I'm in the ER. I'm sitting there, and I'm obviously concerned. I got everything going on around me and all that stuff. And once the doctors were like, "Okay, yeah, fine. You guys are going to go home tonight. And you guys are going to be good." And he's in good shape. I was like, "Okay, great." My wife and I talked. Leo was good. And I was like, "All right, let me see what the Phillies are up to." Because I got to do a show tomorrow. And I jumped in on the game probably right around the time good old Eddie Sosa was stepping to the plate before his 2-run single and put the Phillies in front. And I was like, wow, this guy's starting to cook for the Phillies. I go home and I see his at-bats and I see him in the field. And then I watch more of the game this morning before the show. And I'm like, damn, have yourself a day there, Eddie Sosa. Good old Mendo Sosa. And I was watching him, and I was thinking to myself for the first time yesterday, this is why they were able to get rid of Didi Gregorius. I thought they were just bringing in a guy that was going to be a defensive replacement at shortstop. You got a third baseman, you got a shortstop, you got a guy to play second base as well. You got a guy that can pretty much do it all in the infield. So fine adjustment and right call by Dave Dombrowski. That was great. You see him making all sorts of plays for Noah Syndergaard in the ball game yesterday, and then also driving in 3 runs throughout the game. That was a fine outing. You went 2 for 4 with those 3 RBIs. Bryson Stott went 3 for 5 yesterday for you. JT Realmuto had a couple of hits. Nick Castellanos got the Phillies on the board with an RBI single on his old stomping ground there. How about him getting a standing ovation from the Reds faithful? Overall, just a great day for the Phillies. And probably, other than Eddie Sosa, by the way, Eddie Sosa is all I'll refer to him as. But aside from Eddie Sosa, Noah Syndergaard has his best outing of the 3 that he's had so far as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. And what's really astonishing about it, and I heard Jim Salisbury hammering this point home in the clubhouse yesterday, 16 balls. 16 balls through 7 innings of work plus for Noah Syndergaard. He threw 77 strikes, or excuse me, 77 pitches. Only 16 of those were outside the strike zone. That's a pretty damn good day. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good day there for Thor. And after the game, we'll let you hear from him in a second, but he basically felt like he was settled in. He felt like adjustments that he's been making with the Phillies pitching staff have really worked out well for him. And he said that he is right where he needs to be at this point coming back. But 7 innings. And the other astonishing thing there, as I was hitting at, other astonishing thing was the fact that he did this on 5 days rest, which is an extremely uncommon thing for Noah Syndergaard. You look at what now, 17 starts he's had so far on the season. About 15 of those starts have come on 6 or more days rest. So for him to only do it on 5 and go 7 innings and have that pitch count at where it was is pretty impressive for Noah Syndergaard. Let's get to him after the game. This is what he had to say after, by far, his best start as a Philly.
Yeah, for the most part, I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. The strides that I've made in 2 rotation turns with Caleb and Cap has been amazing. I've never had more confidence on the mound this year. I think it shows in my stuff and my ability to execute pitches.
What are the adjustments you're working on with those 2 guys? And how do they help you?
Basically, what I was trying to do during my rehab was trying to reinvent myself because I thought I had blown out for a reason, and I thought it was more so like because I was like a powerful, not very mobile guy. So I tried to kind of fit the mold of a hypermobile, like smaller guy's delivery, and it didn't really work for me. But the reason I chose to do that is just because I thought it was more efficient. I thought it was going to make me a better pitcher, but it's just not how I'm built. So we're just kind of focusing on just lifting and moving down the mound as fast as I possibly can and being explosive and trusting my stuff.
18 starts now for Noah Syndergaard under his belt. Yeah, and about 15 of those have been on 6 or more days rest. This obviously only a 5-day rest period for him, and he goes out there and he did what he did. That's a guy that can start a game for you in the playoffs. Before the trade deadline, we were all talking about what the Phillies needed to do, and one of the reports that came out was that they needed to get a pitcher that could start a playoff game for them. This is a guy, although Ranger Suarez has really turned it on as of late, this is a guy that could absolutely start a playoff game for you. So great to see that type of outing from him. And he was, I hate use the word dominant when you still allow 3 runs in the game. But compared to his other starts, this was absolutely dominant. And especially considering the short rest by his standard, pretty good game. Now, he goes out there in the 8th inning. They wanted to try to get him another inning, see if he could cruise through that. He did allow a home run, and that's when they took him out. But after the game, Rob Thompson said that if he even would have allowed a base runner, let alone, forget about a home run, but just a base runner, they were going to take him out. It was either cruise control for him or they were going to take him out. David Robertson comes in. He takes care of business. Or Anthony Dominguez comes in. He closes the door in the 9th inning to get the save. So overall, just a great team win. One guy I do want to focus on was the guy with the 3-hit night, and that's Bryson Stott. And I was thinking to myself, post All-Star break, I wonder how this kid's doing in terms of overall average, because I know going into last night, I believe it was a 219 hitter. Now he's about a 223 hitter. And that doesn't really, I think, describe how much he has really turned the corner for the Phillies over the last month of the season. So I look it up to see what he's done over the last month. Going into last night's game, he was a 290 hitter over the last month of the season. I knew he was doing well, like much better than 220, but I didn't expect it to be a 290 hitter. So he's probably up around 300 by now in terms of the last month of the season. So that was awesome. Just to say, well, he's really turned the corner as of late. I wonder how much he's turned the corner. Oh, nearly a 300 hitter over the last month. Yeah, that ain't too bad. That's a guy that's figured it out at the plate. That's a guy that's settled in. Now that he's at his more natural position of shortstop, maybe he's not pressing as much as second base, not as familiar. Maybe he's just getting a lot better as far as and comfortable at the major league level now that he's at his most natural position of being a shortstop. So that was great for him just to see that come out last night with another three-hit performance from him, and continues to rake over the last month of the season. So hopefully that continues. Alec Boehm also had a run scored. He struck out twice last night. Reese Hoskins got another hit. Everybody but Matt Vierling in the starting lineup last night for the Phillies were able to get on base via hit. So that was great for the Phils last night. So a lot of encouraging things, and perhaps the most encouraging thing away from the baseball field last night, at least from away from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, was what went on at Citizens Bank Park with Bryce Harper stepping into the batter's box. I put it out on my Instagram. It's all over social media in case you haven't seen it. Bryce Harper taking his hacks at Citizens Bank Park in the cage. Rumor has it he has 60 swings in that cage yesterday as he started some live batting practice and will hopefully begin a rehab assignment in the not-too-distant future. When Dave Dombrowski was asked about it on the MLB Network yesterday about Bryce Harper and when he could possibly return to the Phillies, he said, if you're talking about September 1, you're not crazy. So could be that Bryce Harper back in the Phillies lineup by September 1st. Hopefully rehab assignment is just around the corner. So good to see Bryce Harper getting some reps in the old batting cage yesterday. Phillies are going to be back at it again, 6:40 tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. We'll see how that game plays out for the Phillies. We'll get to that a little bit more in the Morning Rush segment. Let's jump into this. Some Sixers news that we got to get into. There is a report that came out yesterday about how Kevin Durant's going to make so much noise in Brooklyn that he might retire if he doesn't get out. I would rather retire than play for the Nets again. That's the report that came out yesterday. I believe that was Mark Stein that put it out there. We have another report from Mark Stein. But Kevin Durant did take to Twitter himself. You know that Daryl Morey was at Eagles practice 2 days ago? He was asked about Kevin Durant and just ended the interview session with, all right, thanks, guys, see you. Didn't talk about it. And, of course, he can't because it's property of another team, essentially. But Kevin Durant did take to social media yesterday where he talked about the idea of retiring is just ludicrous. I know most people will believe unnamed sources over me, but if there's anyone out there that'll listen, I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. Poop is comical at this point. That's what Kevin Durant decided to put out there on social media. Now, here's another report, and we're getting this quote via our friend Kai Carlin, who's a friend of the show. And this comes from Mark Stein's podcast. But here it is. If Durant hasn't been traded by then, and that means by the beginning of the season, there's a growing expectation in league circles that he will continue trying to cause as much of a ruckus behind the scenes to try to prod the Nets into lowering their asking price, at least to facilitate a deal. If it wasn't apparent now, he really wants that trade to Phoenix or Miami or even Boston or Philadelphia, no matter what it does to his reputation when he hasn't played a single game yet under his 4-year, $194 million contract extension that he signed in August of last year. This quote right here from Mark Stein, again, not from Kevin Durant, is the one that's amazing to me because this is all the power in the world to the player. We've talked about it with James Harden. We talked about this a little bit yesterday with Kevin Durant, and we've talked about the Fish-a-Wish scenario where somehow, magically, Kevin Durant and Tyrese Maxey are teammates on the Sixers next year or this upcoming season. Still don't think it's happening. Let me get this out of the way. Let me just preface it by saying I still don't think it's happening, but the thought did cross my mind yesterday. Like, watch Daryl Morey get Kevin Durant for Furkan Korkmaz and 2 second-round picks. Like, let's just watch that happen. It's not happening. That is not even a Fish-a-Wish. It's just not happening. But the thought just crossed my mind. Not that exact trade compensation for Kevin Durant, but just something a lot lower than what we thought the asking price was going to be. If he does plan on making that ruckus, I don't think he's going to end up going to the 76ers. I think he will end up going to a team that won't be facing the Brooklyn Nets nearly as often as the Sixers and Boston Celtics would. I think the Nets are going to trade him to a team that they won't have to face often, which would be a smart move by them. But if he is constantly making noise about wanting to go to Philadelphia, I think a guy like Kevin Durant is going to get his way. And I saw somebody hit me up in the comments yesterday, as a matter of fact, talking about James Harden. Doesn't he hate James Harden? They were literally just spraying champagne on Travis Scott like a week ago in London or wherever the hell they were. Like, they're having a fine time together. They're working out in Barcelona together. Like, they're doing fine. I don't think they would have an issue playing here in Philadelphia. I don't think those two guys were the problem. I think Kyrie Irving was more of the problem more than anything. I don't think there's a problem between Kevin Durant and James Harden. I think they'd love to play together here in Philadelphia. The only way I think Kevin Durant ends, like, regardless of a Tyrese Maxey trade or being involved in the trade at all, the only way I see Kevin Durant ending up here in Philadelphia is if he absolutely dictates the terms and says, this is where I want to go. This is where you got to trade me. And if that report is true from Mark Stein, getting that quote via the Sixers wire from our friend Kai Carlin, if that is true, then Kevin Durant just might start banging that drum. Now, notice Kevin Durant had every opportunity in this tweet right here that I mentioned, talking about how most people will believe unnamed sources over me, but I'm not retiring. So if he's denying the retiring part, I don't see him denying the ruckus part. I don't see him denying the idea of, oh, now I'm going to be a model citizen, and if we got to win with the Nets, we're going to win with the Nets. Oh, no, he didn't dispel that rumor. Just the one about him retiring. He picked and chose is what he did. I think this is so unbelievably far from over, and the longer it drags on and the more things that leak out only help the Sixers, I believe, in terms of Kevin Durant no longer being with the Nets and no longer wanting to be with Boston. Because I think if Kevin Durant has his druthers, and I think there's reports out there are reports out there that say he wants to come to Philadelphia, I think he's going to get his way. If both sides want to dig in, this is only the beginning. The fireworks. Like, if people thought the Ben Simmons fiasco was something, imagine Kevin Durant not playing at the start of the season. Let's let push come to shove when the season starts and see how this works out for the Nets. Because, as I said, and this is the serious part of it, it's far from a Furkan Korkmaz and 2 second-round picks deal. But, as I said, the only possible way Tyrese Maxey and Kevin Durant are teammates on the Sixers next year is if Kevin Durant makes enough of a stink where they do have to lower the asking price. And that is the main line here from this quote from Mark Stein. Asking the Nets until they lower the asking price at last to facilitate a deal. It's the only shot the 76ers have of getting Kevin Durant and Tyrese Maxey on the same team next year. That is what we will keep our fingers crossed for. Let's hope. Here's hoping. Let's live in that world for just live in that world for a second. Let's bask in it together. And I'm not even a big KD fan. I just think it would be a great. Hold on. Maxey, Durant, Harden, Embiid? Is it even fair for the rest of the league? No, it's not. And finally, well, 2 more things about the Sixers. One, let me just, I'll wrap up with that one, but let me get to this here. This is from Adrian Wojnarowski. Remember Ben Simmons, that guy that played for the Sixers for a minute? Woj was the first to report this yesterday. Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers have reached a settlement agreement on the grievance that the All-Star guard filed to recoup a portion of the nearly $20 million withheld from him as a result of failure to play games last season. Story soon. Woj later tweeted, almost immediately after this tweeted that the 76ers have maintained the stance that he gets nothing. Nada. You lose, sir. The outcome of the settlement from the grievance is confidential. But one can only hope Ben Simmons simply got a flaming bag of poo left on his doorstep from the 76ers. And it just said Sixers on it. And he had to stomp it out. I don't know how he wins that case. I don't know how he gets the vast majority of the $20 million. I agree with most people that talk about how if you don't show up for work, why would you get paid? I've never cared much about off the court financial situations with teams, but I care about this one because I think the Sixers are right. And I'm usually all about the employee. Hey, the employee is entitled to money. Give him that money. This is something that the Ben Simmons camp had to do. It's a formality where they had to contest it. If Clutch Sports didn't contest it, they wouldn't be doing their job. But if they won a substantial amount of money in return, I feel like that's just wrong, flat out wrong. Especially when, according to Doc Rivers, the situation had dragged on, or excuse me, had predated Doc Rivers joining the 76ers. It's I never rooted more for the man over an employee that I rooted for the 76ers brass to win this grievance over Ben Simmons. But it's settled. It's over. Ben Simmons has no association to the 76ers anymore after this grievance. So hopefully this is the last we got to really harken back to the days of yore with Ben Simmons running things for the 76ers offense. So that's where we're at. And finally, I saw this yesterday as far as the 76ers go. 10 years ago, Andrew Bynum had his press conference at the Constitution Center in Old City. Andrew Bynum walked to a stage led by Adam Aaron of the 76ers ownership group. He walks to the stage. Everyone's hyped up. It's a packed Constitution Center. The 76ers are relevant. People are talking about it again. Everyone's excited. I'm excited. Andrew Bynum had a history of injuries with the Lakers, but put it together. I believe it was something like 67 games the year before, and we're all excited. Andrew Bynum's a member of the 76ers. Andre Iguodala was gone. Andrew Bynum in. Mo Harkless was gone in that trade as well. And, yeah, Andrew Bynum didn't play a single game. Went on to play a few games for the Pacers, though. Remember was it Tuesdays with Bynum? Where he addressed the media with a different haircut every week, giving them updates on his knee, and then he was going flamenco dancing in Spain. Oh, my goodness, that was a time. Talk about sideshows. What a sideshow that was. 10 years! It was Joel Embiid even in America yet? Or was he still in Cameroon learning the game? My Lord. What a time. 10 years ago. Pots and pans. I want to congratulate every member of the Philadelphia Eagles fan base. Trade went down yesterday. JJ Arcega-Whiteside goes to the Seattle Seahawks to become teammates with DK Metcalf, of all places. That's the first thing a lot of people pointed out. And after that, I went right to the umbrella. Now you'll actually need that umbrella. Now Mama's going to have to run out there to Seattle where it rains every other second, and she's going to have to pop that umbrella up there and make sure that her baby is covered and not getting soaked with precipitation. He gets traded for Hugo Amadi, who is a defensive back. Eagles are going to be using it as a safety, most likely. He was a 4th-round draft pick in 2019. That was the year Miles Sanders came into the league, and that was also the same year that JJ Arcega-Whiteside became a member of the Philadelphia Eagles and had a great training camp. Oh, my God, the guy's body position, the way he's physical. Like, I was fooled by it in training camp. This is why I don't pay attention to training camp stats. JJ Arcega-Whiteside goes out there and he's in body position. He's blocking guys out. He's rebounding, essentially, by using his massive frame and get in position to come down with catches in the end zone, red zone threat. And all that went out the window once they stepped on the field against an actual opponent. Hey, look, I didn't know much about DK Metcalf. I didn't know much about Terry McLaurin. I knew that they were pretty damn good football players, and the neck injury to DK Metcalf didn't really scare me. I knew he had a neck injury. But going into that second round, I'm like, okay, wow, they got Miles Sanders. Oh, DK Metcalf still there, Terry McLaurin still there. Okay, that's interesting. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, the Stanford kid. Well, he's big. All right, big receiver in the second round. All right, you got Miles Sanders. Maybe you got a nice little offensive 1-2 punch there. Good training camp, and then disappeared. He's one of the earliest guys. He's one of the highest draft picks and earliest guys that I've ever heard in an NFL career coach talk about how good of a blocker he is. Once you're talking about a wide receiver that you take in the second round as a good blocker, I'm like, bust. That was my first thing. That was when I first heard Doug Peterson say that. I went, ooh, no, not going to be it. But he's out. Amadi's in. 4th round draft pick, 1 interception in his career. And look, Seattle always seems to have a good defense. It's long since the days of the Legion of Boom. We all know that, but they definitely value defense out there. We value it here, and hopefully this guy can contribute. It's a depth move. It's a guy that's going to help you more than JJ. I think Whiteside's going to be helping you. If you remember, they moved him from wide receiver to tight end, and I just don't think the guy has a lot to offer in his NFL career as a talented wide receiver. And the Eagles certainly are good at wide receiver on this team. Jalen Reagor's still here. He might be the next man out. I don't think the Eagles are quite going to give up on him just yet. But when it comes to a depth move, when it comes to needing another safety in the secondary, I think this gives the Eagles some flexibility when it comes to the safety position. Also, kid out of Oregon. Fun times when it comes to what the Eagles had going on today, or excuse me, yesterday at practice. They'll have a practice again today, and then, they practiced yesterday at the Novacar Complex. I believe today they'll fly out to Cleveland to start practice with the Browns in their joint practice schedule before kicking off at the Browns this weekend. So that's what they got as far as the Eagles go. I went back and I watched some more of the earlier this morning. I went back when I was doing some recaps, watched some more of the Phillies, watched some more of the Eagles preseason game. And I was just trying to really break down what I was seeing from Jalen Hurts and really trying to see those times we talked about yesterday of him leaving the pocket and the defense being downfield. One thing I was trying to pay attention to that I didn't look at too much in the first go around. And I know I talked about his progressions yesterday. I wanted to focus in on that a little bit more when I went back to watch his reps. And one of the things I really liked was a lot of times you saw the whole, the completely scanning the field. And I noticed when he threw the touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert, one thing I went back on and wanted to see was whether or not he was bouncing that helmet around to survey the field. He was pretty locked in on Dallas Goedert, which obviously you're not supposed to do. But he was pretty locked in on him. But regardless, he saw the defense. He saw 3 defensive backs in front of Dallas Goedert, led the receiver perfectly, led Dallas Goedert perfectly, dropped it in front of the safety between the 3 defensive backs and then the safety who had over-the-top coverage, dropped it in perfectly in the hip pocket of Dallas Goedert while staring him down. So if you're a defensive back, you know where he's going. He's not Aaron Rodgers where he's snapping his head back the other direction and then looking left, snap back, go right, throw to the right. That wasn't happening on this play. He was looking left, surveying left, had a cup of coffee, threw left, right in the hip pocket of Dallas Goedert. So I decided to go back and watch some of the scramble plays that he had, or just buying time plays, right? And on those plays, you saw him go through the full progression. And you saw him go through no, gone. No, gone. Like, no pressure, gone. Like, you saw it come together in his mind. And are we going to look at these might be the only reps he gets in the preseason. Nick Sirianni said yesterday that he doesn't really think that they're going to have, or 2 days ago rather, he's not sure whether or not starters are going to play in this upcoming preseason game or not. I would go and assume they're not going to play. But so these might be the only preseason snaps we see from him. All I wanted to see was accuracy. I talked about that. I wanted to see that there was some proof in the pudding. What I wanted was a mark in the W column for people like me who think Jalen Hurts will be the starter again for the Eagles next year and for the handful of years after that. And I didn't want to put a check in the L column for the people that think Jalen Hurts already sucks and he's not the guy. There's only positives you can pull out from his performance. Only positives you can pull out from his performance in preseason game number 1. Is it a huge victory? No, it's still just the preseason. But is it more evidence that the work he's put in the offseason will pay off in the upcoming season? Absolutely. It's a little bit more evidence to that. I didn't see him do a lot of the surveying of the field last year. I don't think he ever looked to run, but did he default to it too many times and too quickly? Yes, he did. Through 6 attempts in the first preseason game, I didn't see that nearly as much. So that was a really nice thing to see from Jalen Hurts as that preseason game went on. And as you saw that first drive and he runs it in, they call it back. And then I think that was that the Mailata play or was that the late John? It was the Mailata play. That was great. As far as the scramble where he got hit by Williams, I loved what Jordan Mailata had to say about it. Doesn't care if it's preseason or not. That bleep is dirty. Regardless of its, what was his name? Chris Baker hitting Nick Foles in the Chip Kelly era, and our man Jason Peters stepping up to knock Chris Baker on his ass, standing up for his quarterback in a regular season game, or whether it be a preseason game and your left tackle standing up for his quarterback in that preseason game, regardless of what it is, you always want to see it, and we certainly saw it then. Let me tell you guys about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. When you have a big jewelry purchase, do what I do. Go to my man Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, right there on Jewelers Row. Steven offers something that no other jeweler offers, the perfect price every single day. The perfect price at Steven Singer Jewelers. So you know you're going to get taken care of. You don't have to worry about whether or not the person next to you is paying less than you, like they got some kind of better deal or they negotiated better. At Steven Singer Jewelers, you're getting taken care of just like everybody else is getting taken care of with that perfect price. So there's no pressure, no haggling, no negotiating. You can walk in and all you got to worry about is what beautiful piece of diamond jewelry you want to buy from Steven Singer at Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven Singer, one place, one price, the perfect price every day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. How about the great people of Manscaped? Fellas, you want to look good everywhere, right? Well, that's where the Manscaped enters the chat with the biggest ultimate hygiene bundle yet. The Platinum Package 4.0. Oof, how great is that? It includes a Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and both those come with skin-safe technology that helps reduce the risk of nicks so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. Plus, the ultra-premium body wash, 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, deodorant, crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant, crop reviver ball spray toner. What? Yes, that's a thing. Anti-chafing boxers and the shed travel bag that'll hold all the goods that you'll be using to take care of your goods with Manscaped. And how about this? 20% off and free shipping with promo code Farzy at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping with promo code Farzy. Go to manscaped.com, the leader in below-the-waist grooming. You can now trust them with the whole shebang. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off. And speaking of 20% off, you can also go to freestonefarmcbd.com. That's freestonefarmcbd.com. Use promo code Farzy for 20% off your CBD order from freestonefarmcbd.com. You'll love their menu. If you're someone who likes to take a more natural approach to everything they put in their body, Freestone Farm CBD is the way to go. Their menu is something you'll absolutely have to check out with strains like their insane tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%, and Super CBD, which is half into Kush, and 21%. The genetics of these guys are off the charts, and they grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar. And after harvest, they carefully preserve all the plant compounds in a perfect 3-month cure. Just one look or smell lets you know it's CBD done right. And it's the perfect way for people to put a more natural thing in their body. It's wonderful. Promo code Farzy, 20% off at checkout. That's promo code Farzy at freestonefarmcbd.com. Fellas, are you having a little problem in the bedroom? Check out our friends at Blue Chew. Unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men combat all forms of ED. And again, Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so there's no embarrassing trips to the doctor or pharmacy as Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Here's the Blue Chew process. Sign up at bluechew.com. Consult with one of our licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, very important, you have to be approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and it's all done online. Also, Blue Chew's licensed medical providers will work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. If you don't like swallowing pills, no problem here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable, so it's not just a clever name. Blue Chew's tablets are made right here in the good old U.S. of A. So your sexy time is American-made. And they prepare and ship directly to your house, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy. Once again, here's a special deal for our listeners and our viewers. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy to check out at checkout and pay just $5 shipping. And Blue Chew, that's bluechew.com, promo code Farzy, all one word, and you'll receive your first month free. Just pay $5 shipping. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. Let's jump into our chat check, see how you find people are doing today. Mally, nice to see you. Kevin, Sean, JJAW is gone. One more wide receiver to go. That's Jalen Reagor, of course, Mally. I know where your head's at. Mally, thank you very much. Appreciate the kind words. Sean, very kind. Paul Gaston. Paul, appreciate you. Mally, smoking just cigars with Leo? Just cigars, Mally. Thank you. That's very nice, Dan. I appreciate that. You guys are very kind. Yeah, it's not fun, man. We had to take Lil Toots to the hospital when she was like a week old. Turned out she was fine. This is probably TMI. But she was having a lot of bowel movements. All the parents are like, yes, go on. And all the non-parents are like, what the hell? It's funny how your association with bowel movements change when you become a parent. But anyway, and I just remember my wife was like trying to convince the doctor to look at her diaper. And the doctor is like, I don't think I need to see it. I think you guys are doing a good job explaining everything. And my wife would casually work in how the doctor, if I was doing an ad read and I had a sponsored segment, I would casually work in the name of the sponsor. My wife was casually working it. I brought the diaper if you want to take a look at it. And then I think it was by the 20th diaper promotion by my wife. The doctor was like, I'll take a look at the diaper if it's going to make you feel better. And my wife was like, yeah, it might make me feel better. But anyway, Little Toots turned out to be fun. And how about that? She's 3 now, people. 3-year-old little lady running around my house all full of opinions and stuff. Anyway. Oh, Dan. Wow. Yeah, the originator of the Tuesday, Mike Kern. Oh, I got to get Mike Kern on this program. I love Mike Kern. The Colonel. Love that, man. Bryson sat with 3 hits for a leadoff hitter. Good point, Mally. I didn't even mention that. April, good morning. Mally, you're absolutely right. All of a sudden, him being the leadoff guy for Kyle Schwarber, absolutely. By the way, I said Kyle Schwarber. I said Kyle Schwarber on Fox 29 yesterday. And Mike Jarrett corrected me, and I was like, what is he talking about? I think I've been saying Kyle Schwarber's name wrong. Schwarber is a weird thing for me to say. I don't know why. But it literally is, war is in his name. Schwarber. That's difficult. But him not in the leadoff spot, dealing with his injury, and Bryson Stott moving right into that leadoff spot. He looks comfortable, doesn't he? He looks like a guy that wants to set the tone. Not that I'm moving Kyle Schwarber anytime soon. But Mally, good point. Moves into the top spot. No issues whatsoever. Sean Gillespie, good morning. April, hello again. Why was Bryce Harper getting work in the old batting cage? What's wrong with the new one? You got me on that one there, Daniel. Oh, April, you're too sweet. Yes, no, Leo is good. April, looks like I missed real life news. Hope little Leo is good. He is, April. Thank you very much. We just had to take a trip to the ER yesterday, which is just always exciting. By the way, do you know we went to CHOP? That's probably the best thing about living in Philadelphia is you're that close to CHOP. It's like a 10-minute ride for us. But they have Wawa coffee in the cafeteria. They have Wawa coffee, folks, in the cafeteria. Because I don't really commute much anymore, I don't really go to Wawa anymore. I don't have anything against Wawa. I'm not like that Mike Sealski guy, but I like a cup of Wawa coffee. And you guys know me, I'm an espresso drinker. But if I get there's a nice little toasty blanket put over my shoulders. That's what it is. It's a little piece of home. It's a nice thing. Man, it was delicious. But anyway, that was after we found out Leo was fine and we got some coffee. Anyway, Mally, if the Sixers get KD, Mark got to wear the handlebar for the opening game. Why you want to put the handlebar mustache back on me? I wonder if I still have that somewhere. I'll look for it later. Mally, hello again, Sean. Mally, YouTube, please allow GIFs in the chat. Yes, it's still bleep Ben Simmons. One thing I thought was interesting. By the way, I didn't even notice this. I had only seen that he wasn't there. Stephen A. Smith apparently took like a month off. I don't know why it was. I have no issue with Stephen A. Smith. I think the guy is a great entertainer. But he made his return, 2 days ago now to First Take. And usually if First Take is on, it's background noise in my house. If I'm doing something and I just want to have sports on, I'll just have that on. And he made his triumphant return back to First Take yesterday. I didn't even notice he was gone. But he made his return, and he mentioned bumping into Ben Simmons. And Stephen A. Smith has been pretty hard on Ben. I mean, he's been pretty honest about Ben Simmons. I don't want to say he was necessarily singing a different tune, but he was a lot more compassionate to Ben Simmons after bumping into him, wherever they bumped into one another. And he was like, I wish the brother well. He's working through his stuff. He says he's good. He says he's ready to go. And I'm like, that's interesting. Steven's not like, and I told him that he needs to make sure he earns that money. Like, no, it wasn't like that at all. It was like compassionate, which I felt was interesting. Let's see here. Wow, that JJAW trade is even more interesting because it's Pete Carroll. Is that what I got here? It just jumped around. Oh, more of a reason for Pete Carroll to retire if he's okay with that trade. You ain't wrong. Sean Gillespie, imagine wanting $20 million for not showing up, not going to the doctors, and not talking to anyone. Not to be arrogant, but I can and I am willing to do this for only $2 million. Sean, you got yourself a damn deal. Boop. Dan Schwartz, if I don't respond to anyone ever, it's because I'm doing God's work. You know, Mark. Damn right. Cleaning up the streets of graffiti. Not a regional. What are we? April. The old R2 to Temple, huh? Temple University. I just saw this. They're increasing their transportation for students on campus. They'll have some things that take like into the city itself, like into like downtown, but they're increasing their shuttle service around campus to help the college kids stay safe, which is good. Anything they can do to keep that campus safe. By the way, I drove through Temple's campus the other day. Yesterday was move-in day. But like a couple weeks ago, I had to drive through North Philly and drive up North Broad. And it's now at the point now, April, where it's like, I remember when I went to Temple, when we were at Temple, and people that were 10 years older than us were like, I don't even recognize it now. Well, now I go back, and Christ almighty, it's been like almost 20 years since I graduated. And it's like, holy pots and pans. This isn't even the same school that I went to. This is bonkers. Sean Gillespie, bowel movements? Yeah, you heard me. Here's my little piece of advice for everybody out there dating. Instead of trying to use a pickup line about whatever with a lady, fellas, just start talking about bowel movements. Just start talking about kids and diapers and see how they respond, because you're going to talk about that for a good portion of your life. It's a really weird thing. My brother told me about it when he had his kids, and I was like, what are you talking about? That sounds weird. Why would I ever talk about it? No, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. April, you couldn't be more right with that one. Nothing worse than an ER trip with a baby when they just say, oh, we don't know what it is, but they'll be good. Yeah. Yo, Mullet. What's up, Mullet? By the way, folks, I did an emergency show. I don't know if I think I mentioned that yesterday. I did an emergency show after the Eagles game was done on Friday night. What's up there, Mullet? Nice to see you. Mullet was part of that one. Oh, man, 3 in a real attitude. Oh, yeah, 3, man. Stephen A. Smith in the pumpkin suit and pain. Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Yeah, it was quite the day. It was quite the day. Quite the day. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Great catch up with you guys. There was one more thing I wanted to, I think I missed in here, but I want to make sure I get it. Mally, that's true. Kyrie can ball. I don't disagree with that. But I want to go back to this real quick. I know I put this up a couple of times, but this is the quote from Mark Stein that I wanted to hit one more time about Kevin Durant. And the thing that's so amazing about it is that if you look at the fact that he mentions these two other teams. Now, Boston and Philadelphia have been the main teams that people have mentioned when it comes to Kevin Durant. Phoenix, Miami were the original. They were the OGs of the Kevin Durant trade conversation. Phoenix number 1, Miami number 2. Now, Miami, the interesting thing there is that Bam Adebayo would essentially have to be included in that trade because of the rookie contract deal with Ben Simmons and Bam Adebayo. If you're going to trade Ben Simmons along with or maybe it would be a 3-team trade because I don't think Ben Simmons is teaming up with Jimmy Butler anytime soon. But I feel like Phoenix and Miami are no longer it. I feel like Boston or Philadelphia are the landing spots for Kevin Durant. And look, if I'm the Nets, Phoenix is the spot because I don't want him even in my conference. But if you're Kevin Durant, you're going to push and you're going to fight and you're going to do everything you can, apparently, according to this, cause as big a ruckus as possible to attempt for a second to try to force your way to the team that you absolutely want to go to, not the team that the Nets think you should go to. I remember when the nice lady, the angel sent to us from heaven to talk to us about basketball, Malika Andrews was talking about it on ESPN. I love Malika Andrews. I remember when she was talking about it, and she said, this is a huge balance or huge shift in power in the NBA. And I don't think there's a better way to describe it. Because Kevin Durant, wherever he's going to go to a contender. And even if that team isn't all that much of a contender as maybe some other teams, they become the contender. There's a lot riding on this. And I'm curious to see if, when push comes to shove, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, of the National Basketball Association, Adam Silver, steps up and investigates, like he's doing to the Sixers, apparently. Whatever happens here with Kevin Durant, it's whatever it's done, it's not even going to be done. It's only going to be the beginning of it. Because people are going to be really interested to see how much he goes for, what the asking price is, what is actually met in negotiations, and what it's going to take to draw them to another team. And for the Nets to say, yeah, we'll trade Kevin Durant. It's going to be a hell of a couple of weeks. April, yeah, ain't no way Butler is letting Ben Simmons come to Miami. I concur. Let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Phillies 4-3 victory last night over the Cincinnati Reds. Right back at it tonight, 6:40 start time. Let the hits keep on coming for the Phillies, for Bryson Stott, for Eddie Sosa as well. On the mound for the Phillies tonight, Kyle Gibson gets the start, 7-5 on the season, 4.29 ERA. He'll go against TJ Zook, I believe is how you say his name. TJ Zook, right-handed pitcher, 0-1 on the season, 13.50 ERA, has just 8 career starts under his belt. Has just 1 start this year, and that came just last week against the Mets. He went 4 innings, allowed 6 runs. So not exactly a great rotation after facing Minor yesterday. And the Phillies, I thought they'd get more runs. Even John Kruk was feeling himself a little bit before that game, saying the Phillies are going to score some runs today. That didn't happen as much as I wanted it to. 4 runs, but not as many as I wanted to. I wanted like a 12 spot from the Phillies. That didn't happen. Hopefully today it does happen. They go up against Zek. That's how you say his name? I don't know. But he'll get the start today. He's a big boy, 6'7", going up against the Phillies. Hopefully the Phillies can get that done. Hopefully we get a little bit more story coming, a couple more stories coming out regarding the Eagles and what they plan on doing with these joint practices. Hopefully more things will start to leak out when it comes to Kevin Durant, and we'll get some more information by then. And working on a guest for tomorrow that could shed some light on some things going on with the Eagles when it comes to their offensive and defensive lines as well. See if we can pull that together for you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great. Jim Heine produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show, presented by Steven Singer, the Steven Singer Studios. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.